Chris Benoit was one of WWE's most intense performers, a master of suplexes and submissions, feared for his relentless in-ring precision. Behind the curtain, frustration with WWE management, mounting injuries, and a growing addiction weighed heavily on him. The pressure and the burden of his own demons pushed him past the edge, unleashing a darkness so extreme that it claimed his family and ultimately himself. He was small, quiet, and relentless, a boy from Edmonton, Alberta, born on May 21st, 1967, who would grow up obsessed with wrestling, driven by a hunger for perfection that would consume his life. That boy was Chris Benoit. From a young age, Benoit displayed a natural inclination toward athletics and competition, but it was wrestling that captured his imagination. Watching tape after tape of the era's top performers, he was particularly drawn to the Dynamite Kid, a high-flying, technically precise wrestler from the United Kingdom, whose intense style and remarkable skill level inspired a generation of wrestlers, including Benoit himself. Another critical influence was Bret Hart, whose mastery of technical wrestling, storytelling in the ring, and overall dedication to the craft left a lasting impression on the young Canadian. Benoit often cited these two figures as the reason he wanted to become a professional wrestler, aspiring not only to emulate their style, but also to build a career defined by discipline, intensity, and technical excellence. Recognizing his potential and determination, Benoit's family supported his interest in pursuing wrestling, though his journey would demand years of rigorous training. In his teenage years, Benoit sought out formal training and found it in the legendary Hart Dungeon, run by Stu Hart in Calgary. The Hart Dungeon was notorious within the wrestling world for being exceptionally demanding, physically punishing, and mentally challenging. Students were required to learn and master submission holds, chain wrestling, strikes, and conditioning under grueling circumstances. The dungeon's philosophy focused on producing wrestlers who could withstand extreme pain, endure lengthy matches, and combine technical prowess with storytelling in the ring. For Benoit, this environment was transformative. Under the tutelage of Stu Hart and other members of the Hart family, he honed his craft to an extraordinary level of precision. Benoit made his professional debut on November 22, 1985 in Stampede Wrestling, the promotion operated by the Hart family. From the very beginning, his performances were characterized by a meticulous attention to detail and a relentless drive to improve. Even early in his career, fans and colleagues noted his ability to execute complex moves cleanly and convincingly, a rare trait among young wrestlers at the time. He quickly established himself as a standout performer in Stampede Wrestling, not through flamboyance or showmanship alone, but through the authenticity and intensity of his matches. Benoit's in-ring style was rooted in technical wrestling, which emphasized holds, counterholds, suplex variations, and submissions. He was highly respected by both audiences and fellow wrestlers for his commitment to realism and his willingness to push the pace in every match. During his early years in Stampede Wrestling, Benoit developed several important rivalries that shaped his reputation and career trajectory. One of his most notable early adversaries was Johnny Smith, with whom he engaged in a lengthy and competitive title feud. These matches showcased Benoit's ability to combine technical precision with storytelling, creating tension and excitement for the audience while demonstrating his superior wrestling skills. Another key figure in Benoit's early career was Owen Hart, a fellow graduate of the Hart Dungeon. Their interactions and matches were instrumental in refining Benoit's approach to in-ring psychology, pacing, and technique. The combination of formal dungeon training, early rivalries, and consistent performance allowed Benoit to stand out as one of the most promising young talents in Canadian wrestling. As Benoit continued to develop his craft in Stampede Wrestling, he sought to expand his horizons and gain international experience, which was considered essential for any wrestler seeking a long-term career in the sport. In 1986, he moved to New Japan Pro Wrestling, NJPW, one of the premier wrestling promotions in Japan and a critical training ground for aspiring international stars. In Japan, Benoit adopted the persona of the Pegasus Kid, later modified to Wild Pegasus. This character allowed him to adapt his technical style to the expectations of Japanese audiences, who highly valued fast-paced, physically demanding, and technically intricate wrestling. Japan's wrestling culture emphasized not only athleticism, but also a strong sense of realism and intensity, aligning perfectly with Benoit's approach and natural strengths. Benoit's tenure in NJPW was marked by a series of significant tournaments and matches that would establish him as a globally recognized talent. Among these, the 1994 Super J Cup stands out as a career-defining accomplishment. The Super J Cup was widely regarded as the most prestigious junior heavyweight tournament of its era, featuring top talents from Japan, Mexico, and other parts of the world. Benoit's path to victory in the tournament required defeating a series of highly skilled opponents, including Dean Malenko, the Great Sasuke, and Black Tiger, each of whom presented unique challenges and required Benoit to adapt his style mid-match. His performance in the Super J Cup not only demonstrated his technical mastery, but also his ability to tell compelling stories in the ring, maintain pacing, and execute high-impact maneuvers with precision and intensity. His victory cemented his status as a top international wrestler, earning him recognition and respect not only in Japan but around the world. During his years in NJPW, Benoit's style continued to evolve. He combined the rigorous technical foundation learned in the Hart dungeon with elements of Japanese puroresu, which emphasized striking, rapid sequences of suplexes, and high-risk maneuvers. He became known for his signature crippler crossface submission hold, his extensive repertoire of suplex variations, and his ability to adapt mid-match to different opponents' strengths and weaknesses. This combination of technical mastery, adaptability, and relentless intensity would later define his career in the United States and establish him as one of the most respected wrestlers of his generation. Chris Benoit's WCW career began with brief appearances in 1992-1993, but he became a full-time competitor in 1995, joining a roster that was becoming increasingly renowned for its cruiserweight and technical divisions. From the start, Benoit's in-ring style, meticulously precise, hard-hitting, and technically sophisticated, stood out against both heavyweight and junior heavyweight competitors. His matches were marked by a combination of mat wrestling, suplex variations, submission holds, and sudden bursts of high-impact maneuvers, reflecting his extensive training in the Hart dungeon and his international experience in NJPW. One of his earliest defining rivalries in WCW was with Dean Malenko, who, like Benoit, was a master of technical wrestling. Their encounters were built on the principle of catch wrestling realism, featuring chain wrestling, counters, and subtle storytelling. In a notable televised match in late 1995, Benoit and Malenko exchanged multiple roll-up counters, wrist locks, and bridging pin attempts that showcased their in-ring intelligence. Both men elevated each other's style. Sequences included Benoit hitting a snap suplex into a bridging pin, Malenko countering into a cravate neckbreaker, and Benoit reversing it into a German suplex with a bridge, a finish that drew near-perfect timing and precision from both. The match demonstrated Benoit's ability to maintain flow, technical storytelling, and intensity for over 15 minutes in front of live audiences, laying the foundation for his reputation as a world-class technician. Another major rivalry was with Eddie Guerrero, beginning in the mid-1990s. Their matches were often a blend of high-flying maneuvers, mat-based sequences, and submission transitions, reflecting a combination of WCW's cruiserweight style and Japanese puroresu influences. One match that stands out occurred at a 1996 WCW Monday Nitro, where Benoit executed a series of dragon suplexes in quick succession, each landing with surgical precision, before transitioning into a bridging crossface, forcing Guerrero into an extended submission sequence. Guerrero would escape multiple times, creating tension and dramatic pacing. Their chemistry allowed for creative offense, including sequences where Benoit countered Guerrero's top rope dives into snap suplexes, demonstrating his reaction timing and ring awareness. The audience was captivated not only by the athletic execution, but also by the apparent storytelling, as every move seemed consequential, and the match tempo never faltered. Benoit also engaged in a legendary best-of-7 series with Booker T in 1998. This series showcased the full range of Benoit's wrestling ability, adapting to different match stipulations, opponent styles, and in-ring storytelling. Each match varied in focus. One was heavily technical, another high-flying, and another a hard-hitting, physical contest, emphasizing suplex chains and stiff chops. In the first match, Benoit applied multiple crippler crossfaces in sequence, forcing near submissions and integrated diving headbutts from the second rope into his offense. In the fourth match, a crowd favorite, the wrestlers executed a series of German suplexes back-to-back, with Benoit landing a particularly impactful release, German suplex, onto the mat for a near fall. The series' final match saw Benoit attempt his signature dragon suplex from the top rope, countered by Booker T's midair reversal into a spinebuster, a moment that drew a standing ovation and perfectly illustrated the high stakes and athletic precision of the series. Despite ultimately losing 4-3, Benoit's performances in these matches solidified his status as one of the most skilled in-ring competitors in WCW history. During his WCW tenure, Benoit was also a central figure in the Four Horsemen, 1995 to 1997 incarnation, alongside Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, and Brian Pillman. This affiliation provided him with high-profile tag matches and opportunities to work in multi-man matches against top-tier talent. One memorable tag match, Chris Benoit and Arn Anderson of the Four Horsemen versus Kevin Sullivan and the Giant, highlighted Benoit's versatility. In the bout, he delivered crisp bridging suplex variations, multiple diving headbutts from the turnbuckle, and smooth transitions from armbars into snap suplexes, all while coordinating seamlessly with both partners and opponents in a fast, chaotic environment. The match showcased Benoit's ability to perform at a high level in both singles and multi-man settings, executing technically demanding sequences under constant pressure. In terms of championship matches, Benoit captured multiple titles during his WCW career. He held the World Television Championship twice, the United States Championship 3 times, and the World Tag Team Championships twice. Notable title defenses showcased his technical precision. For instance, during a United States title defense against Ric Flair, Benoit applied a series of armbar counters and bridging crossfaces, forcing Flair to exhibit both technical escapes and storytelling within the match. The bout demonstrated Benoit's ability to control match tempo, craft sequences of near falls, and keep the audience engaged for the entirety of a 20-minute title contest. Similarly, in his World Tag Team title reigns, Benoit's chemistry with his partners allowed for seamless double-team suplex sequences and coordinated submission setups, highlighting his adaptability in both singles and tag competition. The pinnacle of Benoit's WCW career occurred on January 16, 2000, at the sold-out pay-per-view, where he challenged Sid Vicious for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. In this match, Benoit displayed his full arsenal of technical moves against a much larger and more powerful opponent. The contest included Benoit executing repeated dragon suplexes, countering Sid's power moves with precise timing, and strategically applying crippler crossfaces and bridging submissions to wear down his opponent. Each near-fall escalated tension, with the audience visibly reacting to every impactful maneuver. Ultimately, Benoit defeated Sid Vicious to capture the WCW World Heavyweight Championship, a crowning achievement in his career. However, this reign was extremely short-lived. Benoit left WCW the following day due to backstage issues and creative disagreements, forfeiting the title. WWE later recognized this championship as part of his career accomplishments, cementing the historical significance of his achievement. By the time Benoit departed WCW, he had competed in countless high-profile matches, developed enduring rivalries, and consistently demonstrated technical excellence and physical intensity. His WCW tenure was a masterclass in technical wrestling and storytelling, and every bout reflected the depth of his skill, stamina, and in-ring intelligence. Chris Benoit made his WWE debut in 2000 as part of the Radicals, a group including Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, and Perry Saturn, which immediately drew attention for its in-ring credibility and technical expertise. From his first matches, Benoit's style was defined by relentless intensity, precise execution of maneuvers, and an ability to tell complex stories entirely through in-ring action. One of Benoit's early rivalries was with Chris Jericho. Their matches combined technical sequences with high-risk spots that kept audiences on the edge of their seats. In a notable televised match from mid-2000, Benoit executed a German suplex chain, performing 3 consecutive German suplexes on Jericho, each landing with surgical precision. Jericho countered mid-air attempts into codebreaker-like maneuvers, which Benoit then escaped with bridging suplex transitions into an inside cradle. The match was lauded for its technical intensity, pacing, and storytelling, demonstrating Benoit's ability to control tempo while maintaining audience investment. Benoit's most significant and enduring rivalry during this period was with Kurt Angle, a clash of two of the most technically gifted wrestlers of their era. Their Backlash 2001 Ultimate Submission match is widely regarded as a benchmark for submission wrestling in WWE. Benoit applied a variety of holds in succession, including crippler crossface attempts, dragon suplex to bridge transitions, and bridging armbar sequences, forcing Angle to continually counter and escape. Angle attempted multiple ankle locks, German suplexes, and high-impact suplex combinations, each of which Benoit reversed seamlessly, creating a dynamic back-and-forth exchange that kept the audience in suspense for the entire match. The technical complexity, combined with storytelling that emphasized endurance, resilience, and psychological warfare, made this encounter a definitive moment in both wrestlers' careers. At the Royal Rumble 2003, Benoit once again faced Angle in a match for the WWE Championship, lasting over 31 minutes. The bout began with chain wrestling and mat-based exchanges, Benoit using multiple snap suplex variations to wear Angle down. Angle responded with multiple bridging German suplexes, and the match escalated into high-risk sequences, including top rope diving headbutts and repeated submission attempts. Benoit attempted the top rope dragon suplex, narrowly missing, which Angle capitalized on with an overhead belly-to-belly suplex. Despite intense near falls and rapid counters, Angle ultimately won, but the match received widespread praise for the sheer technical execution, storytelling, and endurance showcased by both competitors. Benoit also had notable tag team partnerships during this period, particularly with Chris Jericho and Eddie Guerrero. One example was the chaotic TLC 3 match on SmackDown, where Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho defended the WWF Tag Team Championships against the Hardy Boys, the Dudley Boys, and Edge and Christian. Chris Benoit fought through a painful shoulder injury, taking brutal ladder shots and crashing through tables while still delivering sharp suplexes and climbing repeatedly. Chris Jericho countered aerial attacks, used ladders creatively, and kept the other teams from reaching the belts. After surviving a devastating 3D through a table, Chris Benoit made a final climb, grabbed the titles, and secured an unforgettable victory. Rivalries with Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin allowed Benoit to display a blend of technical wrestling and hard-hitting aggression. In a particularly intense match with Triple H on SmackDown, Benoit delivered a series of dragon suplexes with a bridging pin attempt, immediately countered by Triple H into a pedigree reversal, followed by a striking sequence where Benoit executed a flying headbutt from the top turnbuckle, landing in near-fall territory. Against Stone Cold, Benoit's matches combined realistic strikes, submission counters, and a series of suplex variations designed to wear down Austin's power advantage. One encounter saw Benoit repeatedly trap Austin in crippler crossfaces and bridging cross-arm bars, forcing Austin to escape via strength and timing, demonstrating Benoit's ability to balance technical precision with high-stakes storytelling. Benoit's rivalry with The Rock also highlighted his technical expertise against a more charismatic, powerhouse-style opponent. In one notable bout, Benoit spent the early minutes countering Rock's signature maneuvers, including the spinebuster and rock bottom attempts, while Benoit applied multiple bridging German suplexes and dragon suplexes in rapid succession. The match escalated to a sequence where Rock attempted a top rope maneuver. Benoit countered midair into a bridging suplex, followed by a pin attempt narrowly avoided, maintaining tension and audience engagement throughout. Throughout 2000 to 2004, Benoit consistently elevated the technical standard of WWE matches, frequently integrating multiple suplex variations, bridging submissions, and counters into long, fluid sequences that combined intensity with realism. Chris Benoit's career reached its main event peak between 2004 and 2007, a period in which he consistently delivered some of WWE's most technically accomplished and physically intense matches. This era was defined by championship pursuits, high-stakes bouts, and rivalries with top-tier talent, including Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Randy Orton, Edge, and MVP. Benoit's style evolved further, integrating his mat-based technical precision with explosive suplex chains, bridging submissions, and high-risk maneuvers from the top rope. The Royal Rumble 2004 marked a milestone in Benoit's career. Entering as the #1 entrant, he spent the entire match against 29 other superstars, a grueling display of endurance, strategy, and technical skill. Early sequences involved Benoit systematically isolating opponents with snap suplexes and dragon suplex chains, while avoiding the over-the-top rope eliminations. Mid-match, he executed a series of bridging German suplexes on Kane, Chris Jericho, and Shawn Michaels, blending power and precision. The climax came as Benoit countered Big Show's chokeslam attempt into a flying headbutt, followed by multiple suplex to bridging pin combinations, ultimately eliminating Big Show to win the Royal Rumble. The match was praised for its pacing, intensity, and technical storytelling across a long duration, showcasing Benoit's stamina and in-ring IQ. At WrestleMania 2004, Benoit competed in a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship against Triple H and Shawn Michaels. The match began with precise mat wrestling exchanges. Benoit used multiple snap suplex to bridge transitions on Michaels, who countered into sweet chin music attempts, only for Benoit to escape mid-sequence into dragon suplex combinations. A pivotal moment occurred when Triple H attempted a pedigree, but Benoit reversed into a bridging crippler crossface, forcing Triple H to tap out. Benoit's strategy involved isolating opponents, targeting limbs with repeated suplexes, and maintaining near-continuous action. The match concluded with Benoit securing the World Heavyweight Championship, a culmination of meticulous pacing, multi-level counters, and high-intensity execution, and it remains regarded as one of WWE's most technically proficient WrestleMania finishes. During this period, Benoit developed a notable rivalry with Randy Orton. Their series of matches emphasized suplex variations, submission sequences, and reversals. In a memorable encounter on SmackDown, Benoit delivered a series of dragon suplexes to the mat, transitioning mid-match into a crippler crossface, only for Orton to reach the ropes at the last possible moment. Orton countered with an RKO attempt from mid-air, which Benoit evaded and reversed into another bridging German suplex for a near fall, emphasizing the precise timing and flow that characterized their matches. Benoit also engaged in a rivalry with Edge, culminating in a last man standing match at Backlash 2005. The bout was notable for its combination of technical wrestling and hardcore elements. Benoit executed multiple snap suplexes through tables, blending suplex impact with innovative high-risk maneuvers. Edge responded with spear attempts and top rope dives, which Benoit countered into bridging crossarm bars and German suplex chains. The match involved several submission escapes and counters, with each wrestler pushing the other's limits while maintaining narrative clarity through in-ring action. Throughout these years, Benoit's United States Championship defenses against MVP showcased his ability to combine storytelling with technical precision. Matches often began with mat-based chain wrestling sequences, including wrist locks, arm drags, and bridging crossface attempts. Benoit would follow with high-intensity suplex chains, often performing 3 consecutive German suplexes, finishing with a bridging pin for a near fall. MVP frequently countered with spinebusters or power-based offense, forcing Benoit to adapt and innovate mid-match. These sequences emphasized Benoit's ring awareness, precision timing, and ability to sustain a match's intensity for extended periods. Benoit's continued encounters with Triple H during this period were similarly technical. In a SmackDown match in late 2004, Benoit repeatedly countered Triple H's pedigree attempts with snap suplex chains and bridging submissions. Mid-match, Triple H executed a fall-away slam, but Benoit transitioned seamlessly into a dragon suplex and maintained near-continuous action. The finish saw Benoit lift Triple H into a high-angle suplex, landing in a bridging pin, demonstrating his meticulous pacing, technical mastery, and use of suplex variations to maintain suspense and realism. Tag team matches and multi-man bouts also featured prominently during this era. Benoit teamed with Eddie Guerrero in several WWE Tag Team Championship matches, combining tandem suplexes, bridging crossfaces, and high-risk top rope moves. One notable match against the Dudley Boys involved Benoit countering 3D attempts mid-air with snap suplexes, immediately transitioning into a bridging submission. The fluidity, technical precision, and seamless cooperation between teammates and opponents highlighted Benoit's adaptability and depth of in-ring intelligence. Benoit's wrestling style during these years was defined by several consistent elements. Suplex chains. Rapid sequences of German suplexes, dragon suplexes, and snap suplex variations that showcased strength and precision. Bridging submissions, crippler crossfaces, crossarms, and armbar transitions that created suspense and allowed for near-fall storytelling. Between 2004 and 2007, Benoit consistently delivered matches against top-tier WWE talent, including the World Heavyweight Championship and United States Championship. Each match reflected meticulous technical execution, innovative suplex combinations, and high-intensity offense, cementing his status as a performer capable of blending athleticism, technical skill, and storytelling in every encounter. On June 24, 2007, Chris Benoit, his wife Nancy, and their 7-year-old son Daniel were found deceased in their Georgia home. Law enforcement investigations determined that the deaths occurred over a 2-day period, with Nancy and Daniel killed on June 22 to 23, and Chris Benoit committing suicide on June 24th. The official police report concluded that the incident was a murder-suicide, shocking the wrestling world and igniting widespread media coverage. Investigators reported that the sequence of events involved Benoit first strangling his wife and son, followed by taking his own life via hanging. Toxicology reports indicated no illicit drugs in Benoit's system beyond prescription medications and elevated testosterone levels, though subsequent examinations revealed that his brain showed extensive damage consistent with chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE. The CTE findings were significant, showing damage equivalent to that of an 85-year-old Alzheimer's patient, which raised questions about the potential influence of long-term head trauma on behavior. The WWE immediately responded by removing Benoit from all programming, archives, and promotional material, including pulling videos featuring him from television and DVD releases. Several scheduled appearances and tribute events were canceled or restructured. WWE also adjusted storylines and programming to avoid acknowledging Benoit's legacy in real time. Networks and wrestling historians debated how to handle footage and references to Benoit, balancing historical accuracy with sensitivity to the circumstances. Following the incident, the wrestling industry began a comprehensive examination of wrestler health and safety protocols. The broader wrestling community reacted strongly to the tragedy. Wrestlers, trainers, and former colleagues expressed shock and grief while also initiating discussions about brain trauma, repeated concussions, and long-term effects of repeated high-impact wrestling maneuvers. The Benoit case became a reference point for researchers studying CTE in contact sports, influencing NFL and MMA protocols as well. Industry-wide, WWE and other promotions began emphasizing safer wrestling practices. Moves considered high risk, particularly headfirst maneuvers or unprotected landings, were scrutinized. Training methods and match choreography were reviewed to limit cumulative brain injuries while maintaining entertainment value. Promotions also strengthened policies regarding personal wellness, prescription medications, and physical rehabilitation for talent, ensuring access to ongoing medical support. Public discussions about Benoit were complicated by the contrast between his in-ring skill and the horrific circumstances of his death. Analysts and historians noted that while Benoit's technical wrestling ability remained widely recognized, his professional legacy became intertwined with the tragedy. Discussions about his career increasingly included references to CTE, mental health, and the systemic pressures of professional wrestling that may contribute to long-term physical and psychological strain. Legal and medical researchers examined the case extensively, publishing studies on the link between repeated concussions and behavioral changes. Benoit's brain was examined by the University of Toronto, and researchers concluded that extreme CTE could result in mood disorders, memory impairment, and impulsivity. These findings influenced safety protocols across the wrestling industry and other contact sports. WWE continued to acknowledge the technical proficiency of Benoit's matches selectively, often focusing on historical analyses and in-ring technique rather than promotion. Documentaries, retrospectives, and match analyses approached his career cautiously, emphasizing storytelling, suplex variations, submission work, and endurance, while avoiding celebratory framing of his personal life or death. The tragedy also influenced fan perception and wrestling journalism. Discussions often differentiated between Benoit the performer and Benoit the individual, with technical analysis highlighting matches such as his bouts with Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, and Triple H, while personal coverage addressed the circumstances of June 2007. Industry conventions and fan communities implemented guidelines for discussing Benoit responsibly. Wrestling historians documented matches for educational purposes, focusing on in-ring skill and historical context, while avoiding sensationalizing the tragedy. Research into athlete brain health continued, and Benoit's case remains a reference point for studies on CTE, head trauma, and long-term safety protocols for performers in high-impact sports. Benoit's in-ring legacy, including suplex chains, bridging submissions, and match pacing, continues to be cited in technical discussions, while simultaneously serving as a cautionary example for the potential consequences of repeated physical trauma. WWE, independent promotions, and academic researchers incorporate lessons from the events surrounding his death into wellness programs, concussion policies, and mental health initiatives, reshaping the approach to professional wrestling safety for future generations.